All right. So, oh, what do we think about that shade, man? Is that lighting gonna be fine or what? It's kind of dark, huh? Darn, I like it though. I like the location. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be this way. The lighting is gonna be how it is. It's gonna be good. Okay. So right here, I have a napkin on the ground for my demonstration. Throw a little intro. My name is Evan Strong, and I make videos geared normally around shoelacing and our clothing, the laces within our shoes, the tying within our shoes, the clothing, differences left and right, front to back, weights here and there, tags here and there. Man, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna just keep it going. Phone's doing stuff and there's sounds in the background, lighting's how it is. But my focus is the clothing and how it pulls our body out of its natural working position, right? So, prerequisites, as I say, usually in the intros of all of my videos, just to allow your body to do what it would naturally do, remove the tags from everything, stemming from your shoes all the way up through every item of clothing that you place on your body. Remove the tags, lace and tie your shoes with my technique. You can find that within my content. I have it in multiple places. The tying, the right foot, you'll tie outside over toward the inside. And the left foot, you'll tie same thing, but opposite, outside over toward the inside. So you're tying toward your center line to reinforce a center line, internal rotation. So, for the sake of this video specifically, because what I'm talking about is how to bend down, to reach to get something off the ground, pick anything up, how to bend over, okay? Healthy, naturally, the way our bodies would before our clothing restricts them, okay? So, important for this specifically to say, keep your pants up off of your hips, up above your hips, because your hips just need to open. They have motion and they need to be able to use it, okay? Shoulder seams, the edges ideally right at your shoulders, and the top seams behind your shoulders, okay? That's what we'll say as prerequisites, okay? Because my whole focus, everything at all that I ever talk about with the human body, which I understand very well, always comes down to the clothing, okay? So those are prerequisites where this can never happen. This natural function will never be able to happen without those prerequisites, okay? That's why I focus on clothing the way that I do. So, yes, it's the 31st of August, 2024. My body functions, and it functions well, and is very capable. It has balance, it has rotation, and I can move and stand, and I have natural strength with 0 workouts. As of now, as I've mentioned in very recent content, at least within the past 6 months, I can say for certainty, I have done 0 workouts, 0 stretches, 0 exercising or any kind of routine, 0. I just allow, through the clothing, my body to do what it does, okay? So, here we have a napkin. It was already on the ground, so I figured it's a good thing to use as an example. When it comes to bending over, if you can see my feet, which is ideal for the video's sake, I'm on the outsides of my feet, right? And I've shown very often what it looks like to just be in a natural position, right? If I'm going to bend over, my body wants to be on the outsides of the feet, opening the hips by tucking the pelvis and internally rotating the legs, right? Internal rotation throughout the entire body. Now, if I'm in a proper natural, the way that it would work without being altered or restricted, inhibited by clothing, if I'm in a natural position, when I bend down, I'm going to already be open and I'm going to already be in a position where I have a range of motion in my shoulders and within my hips and within the dorsiflexion, which is the toes coming up, right? Dorsiflexion of the ankles. I will just already be in a position that allows the ranges of motion that are there to happen. So when I'm going to bend down to pick something up, my toes are pointed in very slight so I can be on that natural arch. My hips are open, which is what that allows. My shoulders and rib cage is open. So when I bend down, all the activations in the glutes and the hamstring, a lot of it's that glute medius, that glute muscle that allows this internal rotation, right? That stabilizes your ability to get to where you're going. So there should be actually a rounding of the back. I know what people say about how your back should be blank when you bend over or when you pick something up or when you lift, but if your feet are in a chronic state of this is so bad for your body, we are universally handcrafted and designed. It's so bad for your body for you to stand with your feet out. Your arches will collapse and you'll be in a chronic state of external rotation. So in this position, which most people are chronically in because of their clothing, that's why people say what they say. I'm going to stand normal so that I don't stay in a bad position for the sake of visual reference. That's why people say what they say about how they think that you should bend over or pick something up. Because from a very, 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 very improper functioning position, that's where their advice is coming from. But from a natural working position, you should actually have, yes, your back is pretty straight, but it's allowed to come internal. So when I'm reaching to get this, I'm really opening the hips and all the activations back here. You hear people say to lift with your legs, not the front. Do not lift with your quads. Do not do that. That is so bad for your body's mechanics that I don't get to decide and he and she doesn't get to decide for our own bodies or anybody else's. The way that the body functions, the strength is in the posterior. Posterior meaning rear, okay? Hamstrings, this muscle in the rear of your leg, and your glutes. So when you're gonna bend down, you don't wanna feel very much activation at all in your quads. Very, very, very little, if any. You want it to be back here, okay? Because on the outsides of your feet, in an open internal position, that's where everything's activating. Back here, traveling up in the posterior, right? Because in this position, I'm very bent over, but I can lift one leg, and I'm very strong still, right? Because my feet are where they should be. So, when you're going to bend, as I've said, when I talk about the body, I never use the word posture unless I'm describing what people are meaning when they say it. It is never about a conscious posture, never. Because then you're trying to intellectually alter what your body will naturally do. Your body breathes on its own, your body pumps blood through its system on its own. Your body should balance on its own, really. It blinks, it heals itself. Your body wants to do these things that are natural movements the way that it just will do them if we allow it by letting our clothing sit on it in places where it allows its natural function. So, when it comes to bending over, there's not much to say about staying conscious of something because I never, ever, ever want to give the implication, I never want to imply that you should be conscious of anything that your body does. You shouldn't. It should do it. So, for sake of describing it and giving a visual, you'll be on the outsides of your feet, activated, 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 toward the center, internal rotation, as I've shown leading with the pinkies, right? There's a straight line down from your pinkies. So when you reach, you should lead with your pinkies. Now imagine there's a tag here. That's why that's a prerequisite, right? You have to be able to get that shirt flat against your back to really reach, okay? So you'll bend from your hips in an open, internal, activated position. And then now, it's really your entire body that's working as a whole. People will say to lift with your legs. Again, as I talked about, they're coming from a very, 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 very bad, almost universal body positioning because of clothing. Yet, that's kind of correct because that's where the strength is mostly coming from in this position, but it's an entire body movement. Bending down uses my entire body. When I go to pick this up, there's no conscious focus on this part of the body. It's allow your body to work as a whole in an open position. And then when I bend down to pick it up, everything is working with everything else to just allow a natural movement to happen, right? There's little strength that's required. It's just the natural function of a hip hinge and everything else allowing that to happen, right? Watch my hips hinge. See that? Right here, it's as if there's a bar or like a, rope hitting your hips and then they hinge. You see that? Like if I were to walk into something and it hit me in the hips, they would just go back, they would open into internal rotation, and I would just be internal, right? But it's an entire body's movement, okay? Because everything up here is stabilizing, but not consciously, because it's just it's like, do you see how my body all just kind of, I've shown, when I shown like a kick, like a martial artist, I've shown this internal position, right? It's all kind of hollowing in and opening up, okay? And that's the position, looks like this, right? Pinkies leading, outsides of the feet, toes in, hips posteriorly tucked, femurs internally rotated, core is active, everything's coming toward the center, and you're just opening and reaching, right? Everything's even, active, and you're just here in a center, right? So that's why I do what I do. That's why I focus on clothing, because people are trying to give proper advice. People have an image of what they think it means to bend over healthily, but if you're not coming from a foundational natural function of the human body, you will never be able to get there. I would never be able to get there if I were wearing clothing that did not allow my body to do its natural function. This drinking fountain is my tripod and it just turned on, so now there's audio. That shouldn't be there for the sake of my video. But that's probably about all I need to cover. It's the 31st of August, 2024. My name is Evan Strong. I'm going to move this. I'm gonna go handheld for just a second because, it just turned off right as I took it off of there. Clothing to come, designed by me. What and when? Well, I'm not sure yet, but it will. I will be designing minimal clothing just to allow our bodies to have its natural function and sit in the positions where our bodies have their natural hinges. Be light, be minimal, without things inhibiting our body's capability. So, as I said, it's the 31st of August, 2024. When it comes to bending over, picking something up, reaching down toward the ground, don't be conscious of it. Just do the prerequisites that allow your body to do its thing, and it will just do its thing. Because it's an entire body movement. Everything wants to work together, and then the amount of strength that is required is so It is not. I mean, it doesn't require much strength. It requires a positioning. As I always mention, I have never, up until this point today, within any content that I've posted, given a single workout, a single exercise, or a single routine. It's not about that. It's about the body's positioning, okay? And then it will just work to its own capability within your own personal situation. Okay, thank you. Check out what I've already posted. I have a lot of stuff that I've put out there already. Content like this about the human body, a lot of very good information on how to get the body into its natural working position without training it, because it has its way that it works, and we just need to allow it to do that. Okay, stick around for clothing. Again, my name is Evan Strong. I know the body very well. When you want to pick something up, your body knows how. It just needs to be allowed. Okay, thank you. It didn't stop. Is there anything else I need to say? Oh, heels on the shoes. If you have a heel on your shoe, you will never be able to be, I wouldn't either. This is any universal human would never be able to be in a natural position if there's a heel on your shoe, because that alters your entire body all the way up. Okay. Flat shoes. Thank you.